In this video, we're going to do Excel project number 2. And to do that, we're going to go into Blackboard, go into Assignment, scroll down to Excel project number 2. And then I'm going to hold down my Control button. So on my keyboard, I'm holding down Control. And at the same time, I'm going to left click right there. And that opened up that link in a new tab when I'm using Google Chrome. So that technique I think might work in most browsers, but maybe not all browsers. And then I'm also going to download this file to use it for the assignment. So I'm going to right click that and save link as. And it's asking HTML document. So let's just click it and see what happens. I click it and it opens here in Google Documents, Google Drive. And I'm going to download that. I could find the download there if I'm logged into Google Drive, or I could go here, File, Download. Now I'm downloading that file. I'm going to click that little link right there, show this in the folder, and I'm going to right click that and I'm going to scan with antivirus just to make sure it's virus free. Scan in progress, object scanned, threats found 0. Yeah, so it's scanning right now. We'll come back to that in a second. And then there's also some pictures here. And I'm going to hold down Control on my keyboard again, picture 1, picture 2, and picture 3. And that opened those 3 pictures right there. So I can see what this assignment's supposed to look like when I'm done. There's picture 1, there's picture 3 that shows me the formulas I need to create, and then there's picture 2 which shows me the second sheet there, class fees, and the way that needs to look. So if I wanted to, I could just go by these instructions and follow these instructions. But if I have a little familiarity with Excel, I could just kind of look at this sheet and make my worksheet look like that. So that's the technique we're going to use in this video. And then we'll go back through the instructions just to make sure we did everything when we're done. Let's check in with our antivirus to see if that file is clean. I'm going to hold down Alt on my keyboard. So I'm holding down the Alt key, which is right next to the space bar. And I'm going to press Tab, and that lets me switch between open applications while I continue to hold Alt and then press Tab. There it is, and no threats detected, so we're good to open that. I'm going to go there and then open this file, and I will choose Enable Editing. And so this is what I have to start with, and I'm going to use Alt-Tab, and I could go back and forth between Excel and my picture. So the first thing I notice is that there's only class fees in session 1 down there. And here I have class fees, session 1, and sheet 1. So I'm going to right click sheet 1 and choose delete. All right, so now I've got that looking that way. And then the next thing I want to do is look at all this stuff. It's centered between A and G. And we do that with something called merge and center. So I'm going to select this and go there, A1 to G, and I'm going to choose merge and center, and I'm going to make that bold, and I'm going to make it 14. I'm going to select this A2 through G2, merge and center. I'm going to make that bold, and I'm going to make it 12. And then there's also session 1 enrollment totals on the next line, and so I'm just going to delete line 3 there, and that brings session 1 enrollment totals up, and that's going through to just G, right? Because it's off-centered here, it's going to H. So I'm going to select that and then take away merge and center, and then select this again and then re-hit merge and center. So now I've got that looking like the picture. There's also a space there, line 4, right after session 1. So I'm going to click right here on line 4 and choose Insert, and that inserted a row right there. So now I have that row, and then there's a picture right here, so let's put that picture in. And I'm just going to go to the web, and in the assignment instructions it says find an image that's related to art. So I'm going to search for Burning Man, which is an art festival up in the desert, and people make all kinds of crazy art. And you know, for this one I think I will go with that art right there. Just looking to make sure it's appropriate. You get a bunch of hippies together, sometimes things aren't appropriate. Save image as. I'm just going to save it to my desktop. Call it temp. There we go. I'm done with that. and go back to Excel and go to Insert, Picture, Desktop, Temp, and then I could grab these sizing handles in the corner and make this picture smaller. There we go, and I'm just going to put it into the top. And if I wanted to, I could stretch it that way. Awesome. All right, so we got a picture, we got that. Now we need to make this green and bold. So I'm going to select all this, and I'm going to go to right here, and I'm going to do is there a border on that? No border. I'm going to go down all the way to the bottom of this little border thing right there, go all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to go to Fill, and I'm going to choose that green color. And I'm also going to make it bold right there. And let's just see how that's looking. Class fee. This one says session fee, and I changed that. We're going to leave that because it makes more sense by the name of class. Since this is class name, we're going to call it class fee. All right, that looks pretty good. So next thing I need to do is I need to get some numbers in here, and I need to get some numbers in here, and then I need to format some of these numbers. So these numbers are formatted as percentages, so I'm just going to select all those, right-click, choose Format Cells, and go to Number and choose Percentage. There we go, like that. And then these are money from there to there. So there's a total and an average thing there too. So, and there's no add oil painting. So I'm going to get rid of add oil painting. And then I'm going to add total and average on line 13 and 14. C, total and average. And then this, all that to there, that's all going to be currency. Those to there, and then also this is going to be currency. So I'm going to hold down Control on my keyboard. So while this is selected, that range right there, I'm going to hold down Control on my keyboard and then also select that. So when you select something, if you then hold down Control, you could go select something else that's not continuous to your original selection. It's called non-contiguous selecting or selection. At least that's what I'm calling it. I think it's also officially called that. I'm going to right-click what I've selected now and choose Format Cells. And I'm going to do it as currency with 2 decimal places. And then these here, I'm going to select those, and I'm going to do them as just as numbers, so they're already fine. So now I need to figure out what is a member pay. So this is what a non-member pays, right? And here's a discount. Well, how much is the member paying? And to figure this out, I'm going to work on this one right here first. And that formula is going to be equals to whatever the non-member pays times 1, because anything times 1 is itself. So question for you, what's 48 times 1? It's 48. What's 103 times 1? It's 103. All right, so what is, here's an added thing, what is 100 times 0.5? 100 times 0.5 would be 50. What is 100 times 0.7? 100 times 0.7 would be 70. So if we do the non-member fee, 75 times 1 minus the discount, and if you think about that for a second, what's 1 minus the discount? Well, what's 1 minus 25% or 1 minus 0.25? 1 minus 0.25 will be 0.75. 0.75 times, right, whatever the non-member paid. So if it's 100, 0.75 times 100 would be 75, or 0.75 times 75 is going to be 3/4 of 75, or whatever the heck that works out to, about 54, 57, something like that. Well, let's see. Hit enter, 56. So now that I have that formula, I'm going to copy that and then paste it over the other ones. Control C, highlight that, Control V to paste it. And if I go up to formulas and choose show formulas, I could actually see those formulas in there. And I could even go back to these images and check those formulas, and those are those formulas right here. So the next thing we need to do is, I'm going to take show formula off, is I need to get total fees collected. Well, my total fees collected are going to be how much non-members paid times how many of them, and how much members paid times how many of them. So it's going to be equal to how many non-members times how much did they pay, plus how many members times how much did they pay. And then I could copy this down, Control C, Control V. Alternatively, another way to copy that down would be just to grab down this little corner. There's that little square. When I put my mouse over that, it turns into a black plus sign. I can just pull it down, and that's called the autofill handle. And if we go to show formulas, we can see that that copied the formula down correctly. Just a little cool thing about Excel. It takes a little time maybe to get used to it, but next thing we want is we want the total and we want the average. So the total is going to be here, sum. And what I want to sum up, just these numbers right there. And the average is going to be right here, average. And what I want to average of, just these numbers right there. And then I could again use the autofill handle to pull that over. And that's the same as copying and pasting. And if I look at show formulas, I can see that that's getting the sum of all those numbers up above, and that's getting the average of all those numbers up above. So that one worked correctly. And the formatting here got messed up. It came through as dollars. So I'm going to highlight all these, right-click, choose Format Cells, and I'm going to go to number with 2 decimal places. And that way, because we actually have a decimal there, and so that way that decimal's showing. So even though that's different than this image here, I'm going to leave it like that. I need to enter start date on line 16. So I'm going to go to line 16 and enter start date. And we're going to have the date on line B16, cell B16. I'm going to insert the date and time function, and the function I'm going to use is today. And okay, and it puts in today's date and time, so 4/26. A month later, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enter this sheet right here, this chart. And so I'm going to create that chart, what I need to do is under insert, I have charts, right? And there's the one I'm going to insert. But I need to have, let's see, they're looking at which classes, and let's look at the instructions, see how to do that. So down here, we've got find chart, create a pie chart. Select A7, A11, H7, H11. A7 through A11 right there, and then hold down Control H7 through H11. So that's what we need to select. Right here and right here. So select this, hold down Control, and select that. And now I'm going to come here and choose Chart, and I'm going to choose a 3D chart, and I'm going to change the chart title, and I'm going to call it Class Enrollment. And I'm just going to bring it down here, and it's at A19 is kind of where the top corner is, so A19. And if I wanted to, I could make it a little bigger. And I could, let me see if I can just drag that. No, that doesn't work. Control Z to undo that. Right click it, and oh, you know what? Here, when I select my chart, I've got Format, I've got Design, and Quick Layout. I'm going to choose this layout right there. That's how we did that. Awesome. So we now have our thing looking pretty much like the thing there. Don't worry if your colors are different than mine. These actually came out the same. And now the only other thing we need to do is this class fees one right there. There's nothing there. So we're going to come over here and look at what's the class fees one look like. And the class fees one looks, you know, all the way through the member stuff, just slightly different. And the firmament art. So I'm just going to grab this stuff. It's all the way through the member stuff and all that. I'm going to grab that and Control C, and then come here and Control. I'm going to go paste and just, I'm going to paste like that, or just normal paste. I'll normal paste. There we go. And then I'm going to select that picture and delete it. And it just has Firmament Art Center adult classes, so I'm going to get rid of this. Right click right there and choose delete. And then that is A through E. So I'm going to select this and take off Merge and Center. Select that, take off Merge and Center. And then that's A through E. A through E. And it looks like that is just 11 without bold. So I'm going to make it 11 and no bold. And then it just goes through session fee member, so these aren't there. So I'm going to select those two, click up on the columns, right click, choose delete. And then this is a little bit wider, and these two are a little bit wider. And in fact, if we look in the instructions, it says to make those change the width of column A to 30. So if I select A, right-click it, choose width, I can make that 30. And if I select these two, right-click it and choose, whoops, select these two, right-click it and choose column width, I can make those 14. And then what else do we have on the picture here? This is more of a tan color with a dark border. So I'm going to select all that. And I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go to more borders, and I'm going to go to fill, and I'm going to make it a tan color. And then I'm going to choose the thick box border for it. There we go. So the thick box border is right there. And is that good? Total weeks, member discount. So these are stretched out a little bit. Total weeks, member discount, total weeks, member discount. And yep. It all looks good. Class fees, session one, class fees. So that's it. We're done. So you could upload this Excel spreadsheet for credit, or you could take a screenshot of this, and then also take a screenshot where you're showing your formulas, so I can see your formulas, and you can upload that for credit. And that's what you need to do this assignment. And if you go through these instructions will walk you through step by step for creating something very similar to this, and if not exactly identical to this. And if there's slight discrepancies, between what you get when you follow these instructions versus what you get when you just kind of do it the way I did it in this video, that's okay. I'm not worried about that. What I am worried about is I absolutely want to see your formulas. That's super important. And I want to be able to see your chart. That's also really important. And I just want to see that you also are able to copy and paste this over and do a little formatting there. All right, so the intricacies of formatting, if it's a slightly different green or whatever, no big deal. But that's what's important to me. All right, I hope you enjoyed this.